All right. In the Brotherhood, lots happening. It's been a while, Richie.
It has. It has.
This is Isaac Gentry coming to you live over here in Iowa City, Iowa. We are just about to escape the cold hand of Old Man Winter. There is Richie Zawistowski over there in Des Moines. How you been? How you been?
Oh, not too bad. Trying to, like you said, get out of winter. We had all the good weather in February, and now the last 2 weeks it's just been rainy and crappy and all that stuff.
Those sissies out of the West Coast and the South, they don't know what we're going through. But then again, we've had it pretty easy like the last 3 years. So, I mean, this global warming thing may not be too bad once we have some palm trees right next to our cornfields. But let's let's hop into things here. Let's go ahead and start with our man, Mr. Booker. Now against the Celtics, who are the young feisty Celtics, who are they're entering that stage. Are they for real? Are they fake? Should they hold on to Isaiah for extended period of time and give a 5'7", 5'8" guard $200 million coming up? But our man, Mr. Booker, in a losing effort, being surrounded by the trash on a day-to-day basis, was able to drop 70 points. It was pretty remarkable. And is he 20 years old now?
He's 20 years old. Earlier this year, I think they're the first team to ever start a lineup with 3 different teenagers.
That's insane. But when you think about the fact the guy can't pick up a drink, but he can pick up a basketball and he can get it in.
Oh, he's picking up basketballs, he's picking up drinks, he's picking up ladies, he's picking up whatever he wants. You drop 70, you can pick up anything.
Now, I wanted to ask you, where were you when you heard it? And what was your reaction? Was it our group text? Was it something else?
So what happened is I was out getting some wings and some beers. What was that, Saturday night? And I was watching college games, and I was checking my fantasy score. And I'm just like, all right, cool. And Jordan actually texted me, which I asked him to be on here because he's been on Devin Booker's bandwagon. I got to give him credit since like last year. So I was like, hey, come talk Devin Booker. He's busy. So he texted me and he was like, dude, my guy is going off 70 real points. Well, he also has Russell Westbrook on his team. So I was like, damn, Russell dropped 70? So I started looking up and I'm like, what is he talking about? So I just go to his fantasy team and I'm like, oh my God, Devin Booker, 70. And I was just like I didn't really know how to really take that. Like, it came out of nowhere. Devin Booker isn't somebody that's like Harden, it's not Russ, it's not LeBron, it's not Steph, it's not Clay, it's not any of that. It's Devin Booker, and people don't know who he is. Unless you watch the NBA, you don't know who Devin Booker is. And the fact that he dropped 70 and was only the 6th person in NBA history to score over 70 points, he scored more than Jordan ever scored, more than LeBron ever scored. There's just so many people, and I still really don't get it. I've seen highlights, I didn't see the game, but it's crazy. 70.
Yeah, I've almost religiously gone back and watched that at least 3 times in terms of just the highlights of him. One of the beautiful things that is kind of nuanced in that whole, arena. First of all, Boston's going to win the game, but and they're up ahead so much. But it got to the point where the crowd was watching him, and they were just like, "How many points is this young man going to get?" How Curry can come into any kind of gym and kind of just suck the energy and kind of take it and make it his own. And to the point where the crowd is almost rooting for him. Devin Booker had that impact on the Boston fans, and they're nasty fans. They're diehard. But when you're able to take the against you and transform it for you, it was wonderful to see a 20-year-old kid do that, and it's just, man, they're just getting better and better at that age. And you can
real recognize real, right?
Yeah, and there's a really strong talent base just for a lot of the young players coming up in the NBA. So I think we're gonna be in good hands even after LeBron and Curry and KD and all those guys go away. There's a lot of players under the age of 23 that are just you can see it.
There's tons of them around the Suns. Like, they have arguably the most talented team under 23. I mean, Like, they have Chris, they have Dragon Bender hadn't even really played this year. They got Booker. They have Big Sauce, Allen Williams. They got Alex Len if he'd ever do anything. Like, dude, I can see them, like, this is a bit much. I don't want to say the Warriors, but before the Warriors turned into the Warriors, like, people didn't think they'd be that good. They're like, okay, cool. They got a young shooter and Steph. They got Klay Thompson. They have a second-round pick in Draymond Green. And that young talent just clicked. And I don't think they're going to be that good, but I could see them being like a 3, 4, 5 seed in the next, like, 2 years or something. I don't know.
A little longer than that. Just because, I mean, they're just one of those franchises that is just mired and they kind of get in their own way, and it's just due to just really bad ownership. I mean,
I don't know. They've been pretty damn respectable.
Well, how about them? They didn't want to retire Amari Stoudemire's number.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm just saying, like, players and coaches, stuff like that. Like, they had DAntoni, they had a nice run there. I thought it was crazy, but when they let Amari walk and go to the Knicks, I was like, wow, that's really stupid. But it turns out he was pretty much done with those knees. But,
I mean,
yeah, I like the Suns. I think they got youth, but just kind of get back on Devin Booker 70. Just like I said earlier, the fact that it was so out of the blue, it was at the Garden. Like, I've said this before, but I'm kind of a traditionalist with sports, and I love when those things happen. Garden, or excuse me, Boston Garden, Madison Square Garden. I said the Garden, I meant Boston Garden, but just kind of the old school places and things like that, and it just, I don't know, it's one of those things to where, like I said, 6 people have only scored 70 more, so I'm excited for next year. Like you said, there's tons of, you know, young players and things like that aren't going to be in the playoffs, so they're pretty much done this year. We'll watch them next year grow, and then, you know, obviously I'm going to watch the playoffs. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm excited for next year, but just like for young teams, seeing what they have, like Suns and Sixers. So,
I mean, when you watch this kid play, he plays with a calm and almost like a patience, like he has all day. You know what I mean? And you don't see kids at that age with that much poise and that much touch on the ball. I mean, you can see him shoot a couple times. The guy's all over him, and he's just kissing it off the glass. And it's just such a soft touch. It's just so pure. His form is so mechanically sound. He gets lost on defense because, I mean, that's just what young players do. I mean, you can have Coach Thibodeau and all the athletes in the world, but without that age and without that seasoning, being based on age, but I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun to really watch this kid grow over the next decade or so. And the Suns, they got to come in the rough. But let's just kind of transition over here to the Tinderization of the NBA. Now, our friend Tom Haberstroh actually, released an article, and they're almost looking at things historically because, I'm looking back in the 87-88 season up to that point, home teams had a 67.9 winning percentage. Now, to give you a little more perspective on that, that's essentially like a 55-win team in terms of the pace that they're on. So that's just, home teams and the big advantage that they had back then. But in comparison to just today's numbers, like this season is actually a season low for home winning percentages at 57.4. Now, I immediately fall over this. Let's look at this real quick. James Harden said that, last season statistically, it was his best season, but it was his worst season just due to, off the court with Kardashians and running around and getting his picture taken on Instagram by some random floozy. I don't know the young woman, so I probably shouldn't call her floozy, but, the glove fits. Well, anyways, what happens is, because Houston is so analytically, charged, and they show him, his numbers in comparison, the people his age. And there are a lot of good names that are on that list, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants and whatnot, of just people who have made, 3 all-star teams by the age of 25. But they also showed him a couple more names that really, probably made his eyes buck out of his head. And that was Gilbert Arenas, and that was Steve Francis. Both players made 3 all-star teams before the age of 25. Both players did not take care of their bodies or nor have all the knowledge that we have today. So when you have all the information, you can make different decisions with that. And that's kind of what James Harden has done But when we go back to the point of just the Tinderization of the NBA and how much more efficient it's gotten just with our apps and being able to talk to young women in the most creative fashion and get straight to the point versus going to a club, staying up till 4 a.m., chatting it up, drinking more alcohol, versus I can just hit you up on Instagram, just creep in your DMs, give you my address, have a key waiting for you right at the hotel right when you come in, and we're good to go. Now, what are your thoughts on that? And just the change of how difficult it was to win on the road, and now how it's almost just there is no home court advantage almost.
I think that the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I don't think that NBA players are. I don't think they're playing better on the road because they're able to hook up more. I do think that they're going out less. One thing I saw some articles and just him talking in general on it. And one thing that he brought up was a really good point is 80s, 90s culture was more like going out and I don't want to say like cocaine, but I just feel like now it's more stay in, chill, play some 2K, smoke a little weed, stuff like that. It's not like the paradigm has shifted more, and it's not so much about just like, hey, I'm gonna, people are still gonna go out, but it's just he brought up that good point where instead of it going out to having to look for them when they're coming in, it's like, hey, I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm gonna stay out of the limelight. I mean, Kyle says, I'm me, I do me, and I chill. Like that's pretty much it, man. Like some people are gonna go out and all that stuff, and that's really cool. But when you can, you're on a back-to-back and you're in Milwaukee, like, no, man, I ain't trying to go out. It's January. It's like, come in, like, come in the hotel. I got the key. I got a blunt waiting. Let's watch a movie, chill. Like, you don't have to go out and get wild. And I think that the next day, not having to recover from putting essentially poison, and don't get me wrong, I love to drink, but, I mean, having hangovers and all that stuff, like it's not conducive to winning. So,
bro,
I think that it's not so much that they're getting laid easier that's making them play better. I think it's the impact of, hey, I don't have to do much to get laid, and I don't have to go out and spend money on alcohol and destroy my body that way. So,
and just to kind of dive a little deeper into that Tom Haberstroh article, he was actually able to speak with a guy who sets up all the VIP treatment down in South Beach when you come to get the South Beach flu, which is why that's just one of those areas where the home court advantage is still really, really strong because a lot of players they're susceptible to the South Beach flu, and the guy's name that Tom Haberstroh happened to interview was Purple, and Purple. He gets the text from certain individuals, and he specializes it for them. So when they're coming to town, so say NBA superstar X is coming to town, he prepares the type of women that they like to talk to, down to their hair color, to their body shape. He prepares the music that person happens to like, along with the alcohol. So they go down to the most extreme detail. And Purple refers to this as, of course, the VIP treatment. I personally would like to call it the MVP treatment, just because we're dealing with NBA players, and not everyone can be an MVP. But it was just awesome to really dive into that life, and you can actually go to this guy's Instagram. I don't have it in front of me right now, but he deals with everyone from LeBron James to Justin Bieber, you name it. He's kind of had a conversation with those guys, and this is also an individual who did not graduate from high school.
What you got?
Yeah, he's gotten there, man. He's gotten there. But that was pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and just move over here to something that was just on to the NBA sphere. Now I will ask you, how do you feel about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Actually, funny story. When this came out, I'd say over the last probably year, I've just really started liking PBJs, and I would say I had a honest to God, I had a PBJ yesterday. I heard about the whole KG PBJ thing, I want to say early in the week. So I probably had like 2 or 3 PBJs in the last week or so. So I'm all for them. I go chunky peanut butter. I go strawberry or raspberry jam. And they're incredible. Sometimes I toast them, sometimes I don't. But nice cold glass of milk.
Oh,
it's delicious. It's delicious.
I mean, what kind of stunned me was that the fact that it's kind of a household thing throughout the NBA, and it doesn't really matter if you're home or away; they're just kind of readily available for you. And the fact that it just the way it was born, it was just some guy was like, "Man, we need some peanut butter jelly sandwiches." It's just a random player, KG. And KG was like, "Yeah, let's get on that." and that was all she said. And that was actually the year they won the
only KG can do. He's the only one that can just be like, all right, we're gonna rock some PBJs, bring them all in. He's intense, and whatever he's doing, he's getting them.
Oh, he's 0 to 100. He's the epitomization of it. I think he should have his own emoji. But it's just really cool that they label these things with S, G, and C, meaning strawberry, crunchy. I'm assuming in grape. Yeah, grape for the jelly. I mean, so they have different jellies, jams, white bread, wheat bread. I mean, they're really going ham on these things right now, man. I'm talking about organic jams. Like, they're doing everything because I guess when you have...
If you're an athlete, you better not be having white bread.
Huh?
Better not be doing it. Better be wheat bread if you're an athlete.
Shoot, bro. If Dwight Howard can chew on all the candy bars in the world, I'm allowed to have my damn white bread.
Yeah, but we're not pro athletes. That's why Dwight Howard is an idiot. Like, what are you doing? You're a pro athlete. You cannot have candy be your primary diet. Like, oh.
He's still going to have.
I was just like a fan of his in Orlando, and now he's just a goof.
He's still going to have, I think, 15,000 points and 12,000 rebounds. I think that's where he's at right now.
Absolutely, but he could have been so much more if he would have taken things seriously and not. Anyways, we're getting off topic, but yeah.
No, did you?
How PBJ's, his hands were shaking because he had so much sugar. Like, oh my god.
And his toes, his hands, his body wasn't responding how he wanted it to. But I mean, the one thing, we'll tie this back into Dwight Howard, because the one thing that he asked that he could hold on to was peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So I mean, it's comfort food. It's the one food that I feel that we can all fall back on, and no matter how old we are or how young we are, it's solid. You can't.
I mean, it's the best of both worlds, or all worlds really, because it's got a little sweet. It's got the jam, the jelly. It's got peanut butter, which is fairly healthy. I mean, you can get unhealthy varieties of it, but for the most part, peanut butter is fairly healthy as far as providing you your fats and things of that nature. But yeah, man, I love it. I think it's awesome that it's kind of an NBA cult classic type thing. I mean, you grow up on it. Your mom gives it to you. Your friends are over, and she's like, "All right, I'm making PBJs." Like, it's like that's like the core of basketball, man. Like when you're growing up, and you get the PBJs, and you get the little KoolAid jammer squirters with the bottle that you could squeeze. Like, dude. That's to me, that's like the heart of hoops right there. Like, that's backyard hoops. Mom, PBJ, and KoolAid right there.
Did your little KoolAid guys snap offs? Did they have little faces on them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'd always twist them off, and then I'd like chew on the part that I would twist off. Yeah.
Even suck out the little itty bitty stuff that's still in there.
Exactly. you know.
We can't go too nostalgic because we'll start talking about Lunchables and all that. But just back to just the KoolAid topic. I like how the KoolAid people, with the faces and whatnot, they look like black people. They have black feet. Okay? These KoolAid guys and faces, they got the big old lips. Come on, bro. There's not a little bit of advertising aiming at a certain specific nuanced population. That would just be my guess. Okay, I could be wrong.
Hey, I don't know. Shit, it's working. I don't know.
We might as well move on to, speaking of moving on, okay, we'll look at, the fact that if you are going to be a loudmouth and you're going to yell about things and make KoolAid certain promises to people, you better be prepared for the NBA to tear you apart if you're a high-profile personality.
Or me, a random guy.
And that's what our man Mr. Ball had to learn. And I don't know if he kind of, feels the same way that we are kind of looking at Lonzo, like, what the hell was wrong with you? Why did you shoot the ball 10 times in a whole entire game when you're supposed to be like the #1 overall draft pick in the upcoming draft? But maybe his nonchalant behavior, just, being on defense and offense, was just like his mind was elsewhere. And maybe his dad kind of stole his heart a little bit and, took a little bit of the gas out of what he's actually trying to do over there at UCLA. But it was really sad because I wanted to see him really go out and, drop at least 20 shots, maybe a triple double. You got the ball in your hand the whole entire time. It's your choice, so you can do whatever you want to with it. But these memes that are coming out about Lavar are just orgasmic.
Yes,
Your thoughts, sir?
Yes, they are. First off, I want to credit you for making this conversation so far about Lonzo Ball and not his father. So legitimately, thank you to that. And now I'm going to take this moment to be a blithering hypocrite and spend my time talking about Lavar Ball, who won't shut the hell up. Here is my stance on that, and I made this perfectly clear, but I just want to rant this to the world. But my whole thing, I have no problem with Lonzo Ball. I have no problem with any of the balls. You were the one that told me about LaMelo dropping 92, and I was like, dude, this guy's shooting like Steph Curry, like he's going to be an NBA star. I haven't seen much of LiAngelo, and then I like Lonzo. Just kind of the whole not shooting a lot. I think that's kind of his persona. But so the whole thing with Lonzo is, hey, he's being a good father. He's supporting his kids. And, some people, unfortunately, don't have that in their lives. So I can understand how some people view it as a positive. However, my counter to that is just because that opportunity isn't afforded to some people doesn't mean that he's doing his sons justice by the way that he's acting. The example I always like to bring up is Del Curry. So did Del Curry believe in his sons? Absolutely. Does Lavar Ball believe in his sons? Absolutely. One way of doing it is, hey, I'm going to set you up for success. Lavar Ball, by all means, deserves some credit for what he's done. He's trained his sons. I think he may have went a bit overboard in the fact that that's all he wanted is to have sons and train them to be athletes. Steph Curry threw a subtle shot at him. He was like, hey, they're going to be great NBA players. That's their job, and that's it, which, let them be kids a little bit. But at the end of the day, credit. But when you're trying to live vicariously through your sons to achieve fame and success that you never had, and to me, in my opinion, it's crystal clear that's what he's doing, because there's so many times where it was about, I'm going to beat Jordan back in '86. It's about us. Like, he's bringing all the attention on him, and while he is directing some of that to his sons, I think it's really transparent that most of that he's doing is so he can get the attention. And then a piece that I can't remember who wrote it, but now it's coming out that he's undermining the coaches at LaMelo and LiAngelo's high school at Chino Hills and telling people to double team when that wasn't the game plan. Essentially undermining the coach, destroyed the locker room, and they went 30-3 after going undefeated last year. They lost in the playoffs. So I think his behavior of wanting to be viewed as the orchestrator and the guy that developed everything, I think that is really undermining Lonzo's, not his ability, but just it's undermining when it should be about him. It's about Lavar. And again, I'm being a blithering hypocrite and spending my time talking about it. But I want to be clear that this isn't something to where it's like, oh man, I don't like the balls and I hope they fail. No, I'm rooting for his sons. I just wish that he would step the hell back and let it be about them and let them get the shine instead of trying to make it about, me, and then undermining a high school coach and all that stuff. So I'm all for supporting. I'm all for that. But there's sometimes that, it's not so much about you. It's about them. And I think that he could go a much better way. And hopefully he's been humbled now. He could go about it in a much better way and have it be about his sons. All right, my rant's over.
I loved everything he's ever said until he went to the point where, like, okay, I could have beat Michael Jordan 1-on-1.
He's trolling. It's a troll.
That's where the line is just like, okay, dude, now it's about you. And it's one thing to say that my son is better than Steph Curry, even though it's obviously just stupid. I mean, Steph Curry would probably average 50 points a game in today's world, especially. Yeah. Those kids wouldn't have a chance. I mean, they didn't have a chance when he was a kid. So why would they have a chance today? And
Mm-hmm.
and then when Lavar starts screaming about how Steph Curry would shoot them out of the game and blah blah blah, and then I'm just like, okay, bro, now you need to back down, okay?
So do you think that was the point when it became not being about actual game and it became a troll to get attention? Because that was my big thing. Don't troll to get attention.
Well, I mean, I think he's probably trolled to get his attention his whole entire life. So I feel like if you're going to be you, you're going to be you. You know what I mean? And
But it wasn't that bad, was it?
well, I mean, if you're going to go up to a coach at Chino Hills and kind of undermine his authority, that kind of just tells me that's kind of always been who you were.
But is that trolling for attention, or is that just undermining, thinking that you know more? I think trolling for attention when it doesn't, like, I don't think he really believed he could beat Jordan, and I don't think he really believed he could do those things to Steph Curry. So he just, that's my whole thing, is don't say things that have no basis in reality just so people will talk about you. It's not Lonzo. If Lonzo would be doing that stuff and he was going out there and saying, like, man, not the Jordan stuff. Actually, no. If he was saying any of that, I'd be like, whoa, slow your roll. But in general, if Lonzo was talking, I would be fine with that because he's the one cashing the checks. But when Lavar is doing it and just to get attention and he has no way of doing anything, it just felt like he was playing us, and he was. But it's just like, let's see through it a little bit.
I hear you. I think what happened though was, let's just say, the events that happened on, Friday night didn't happen. And let's say that he won that game and they're in the Final Four right now. He would look pretty awesome right now, and that momentum would keep carrying right now. And say,
I thought they were going to win it. I thought they were going to win it all.
I had them. I had them winning it in my bracket. But it is what it is. And but let's say that he goes through, and he comes through for his dad, and his dad is on top of the world. And he doesn't have that Jordan face on him quite yet. And this guy, wins it all. Now all of a sudden, that all that money that he put on blackjack, it's paying him back, because if you're, say my son's this, my son's that, and he goes out and drops like a 20-point, just a double, in the final game, and UCLA wins the national championship, and he's cutting down, the ribbon, and he's MVP of the Naismith, player of the tournament. He's probably going number one
even now.
Because, just around this time of the year, a lot of people are prisoners of the moment because they happen to be watching the tournament. A lot of general managers, they fall for the Derek Williams, where, a guy shoots over 50% from three. You're just like, number one overall, like instead of really focusing on what did this guy do throughout the entire year? What did he do last year? How does he work in certain situations? You just, examine the biggest and brightest lights in a one-game sample size, and you fall in love with the wrong player. But that's where I can't really fault him, because if he had come through and won, I'd be like, all right, man, because I still want him on my Lakers. Let's not get it twisted. But I'm not sure if I want his dad. I mean, do we have to draft his dad also? Can we leave him not in the second round and just leave him there?
Nope, that's a package deal right there. He's like the baby mama drama, only it's the dad.
See, now you sound like the old the GM from the Dolphins who said we drafted Ted Ginn and his family.
Wait, what?
That's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling right now, dude. And I don't need that ball to hit behind my bench, man. We need Luke to work. We don't need him undermining Luke on the sidelines, bro.
Yep.
That being said, man, is there anything that you want to touch on before we get up out of here?
I think we've done a good job on this topic. I've said so much on this thing in the last week. I just want to make sure that I guess I just want to say this. I don't have a problem with him supporting his sons and getting all that out there. I think that Lonzo Ball is incredibly talented. I think he is going to be top 3 pick, probably, possibly even number 1. I think he's handled everything great. I think this may be a point where he's kind of humbled a little bit and realized, hey, I've done my job. I've made sure that the ball name is in people's mouths.
Mm-hmm.
Just learn, just ground yourself. Like, keep it based in reality. You're not going to beat Jordan. You weren't going to beat him when he was dropping 35 a game. Your son's not beating Steph Curry, all that stuff. Like, just keep it grounded in reality. Still believe in your sons, but maybe, be a little more realistic about it. And I honest to God, I'm rooting for all of them. Like I said, I haven't seen much of LiAngelo.
He's gonna be okay.
Really like.
I mean, he might be an okay college player. He can shoot, and he can shoot from distance. See, that kid has.
So he's not a pro guy.
No.
So realistically, it's Lonzo and LaMelo.
I think LaMelo has a chance to be better than everyone.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree. That shot, I 100% agree with that.
He can't jump, but he's still.
It's Steph Curry shot.
That's true. I mean, but he's 15.
It's totally that.
He's like 15. He's got a really nice handle. He still has to get in the weight room because I mean you can tell like Lonzo, you can tell he hasn't even touched the weight room. Like, and he's still so naturally strong and quick and explosive. I mean, he probably does drills and stuff, but he's a wiry, skinny, wispy guy. And LaMelo's got a chance to get in the weight room early and have a more developed body before he leaves and goes to college. They need to get him on that. But
so wait. If they weren't lifting weights as part of Lavar's training, what the heck? I thought they were doing stuff when they were like 4 and 5.
I mean, if they are doing stuff, it's more core. Because you can look at our man Lonzo's arms, and my arms are bigger than Lonzo's arms.
Yeah, and they're not like cut; they're just lean.
Even Steph Curry, he even bulked up a little bit. You can kind of see him; he's kind of getting swole. But looking at Lonzo's body and just comparing his body does match up kind of well with his younger brothers, but the middle brother. He just doesn't have the foot speed, the quickness, the agility, just not there. And you've seen those guys who can dominate the high school scene, and they just don't have that foot speed to keep up with players in the next level. And I think that's kind of where he's going to struggle.
So the whole $1 billion for the Ball brand, realistically, you only have 2.
Yeah.
And they haven't proved anything in the NBA. That was another thing of mine, asking for $1 billion and all that stuff, just being outlandish, stuff like that. So I think if Lonzo comes out, which obviously he already has, he's going pro. So if he can get a 3, you said LaMelo's 15, sign like a 4-year deal with Nike. Prove yourself in the NBA, which I think he will be in 4 years from now, so coming out of his 3rd year. He'll probably be, if not already, on an all-star team, probably pushing for an all-star. Like, I like his game.
I love it.
Then when LaMelo comes in, he'll be able to do what he was doing in wherever. He's probably going to UCLA. So sophomore, junior, senior, freshman. 3 more years of basketball, enter the NBA. You can get a fat contract then, but you're not getting $1 billion when one of them is probably not going pro. So
yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say no. But he's got the size, he's got all the skills, but he just doesn't have the lateral quickness and the movement. And those are things that you can work on. But I just think he wasn't born with just the natural tools to be able to sharpen those out a little bit.
I agree. Because otherwise, I've seen tons of Lonzo. Obviously, I've seen LaMelo just from his highlights, and not even the '92 one. But I've never heard about LiAngelo besides being part of the trio. So.
Oh, he drops 70-point games in high school too.
All right, that's solid. Solid.
He's an excellent high school basketball player. He is, and he's going to be I think a solid, very good, maybe even player on the next level. He can be a 3. In Division I, and because he's got that beautiful shot. And
so he's staying 4 years at UCLA?
Maybe he won't, because he'll realize that he'll never have a need for money once his brother's career really takes off. But maybe he'll want to go 4 years for himself, and maybe even try to get better and eventually get to that next level. But I mean, I feel bad shortchanging and say he won't make it, but I don't see it.
I agree. No, I agree. He'll be like Dan and Chris Gronkowski. What about me?
Or the other Peyton Manning brother that no one even knows about. And you want to add
his name? Cooper.
I've had a guess.
Cooper Manning. Yep.
You think
he was the oldest? And he had.
What is it? What's his name?
Cooper.
I thought it'd be like biblical.
Like Isaac?
Yeah. Like those Southern, guys. I mean, there's football, then there's church, and then there's God. You know, like
That's
that's,
true.
that's the order of things go, man. And I just figured his name would kind of fall into Jeremiah or something like that. But
He was a bullfrog, man.
anything else you want to add today, my friend?
Nope, that was good. That was good. Switching the roles up, that was solid.
All right. And then Brotherhood, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us one more time. Richie, you the man, baby. Hopefully we can do this soon in the future here. You have a good night, brother.
You as well, man.